सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Okay, Sairam, everyone. So we were covering one of the verses in the Suprapadam last week. So I thought I will start from there. So I'll just go over the verse once. Adaya Divya Kusumani Manoharani Shripada Pujana Vidhim Bhavadangri Mule Kartum Mahotsukataya Pravishanti Bhakta Shri Sathya Sai Bhagavan Tava Suprabhatam. Just give me a second, please. Sorry. So what we went through the meaning. Adaya, having collected, Divya Kusumani, divine flowers, Manoharani, that which captivates the mind, Sri Pada, the divine feet, Pujana, worship, with him, the way of doing it, the instructions, Bhava Dangri Mule. Bhava means Bhavat, what exists in Angri Mule is Vedas, the root source of all knowledge. Mule is the root or the source. Angri is also the verses, one of the meanings we saw. Kartum Mahotsukataya. To do that, Mahotsukataya, with great yearning, Pravishanti, they enter Bhakta. So the devotees are entering with great excitement and yearning, having collected the divine flowers which are mind captivating, so beautiful, to do the Pada Puja, to worship the feet of the Lord, the way it is prescribed in the Vedas. So this is what we saw. I had mentioned, what are the divine flowers? Flowers, is it just what we find in the trees? They are also divine because it's created by God. But that is at the physical sense we collect flowers. But Swami has spoken about flowers which God likes in many of his discourses. So I thought I will just touch upon them, because one of the things which we are trying to do with this Sanskrit lesson is to understand whatever Swami is teaching. So wherever possible, I would like to introduce those concepts, because we are talking about Divya Kusuman, the divine flowers, Manoharani. So I'll just, so I have a slide here. So if I will just read it, wait 1 second, I'm having a problem. Okay. Ashtavidhani Pushpani Vishnu Devaha Yachitaha. Actually, this is from a wise saying called Subhashitas. Um, so I've just collected it for you to use, which is where Swami actually quotes. Actually, there's a verse in Sanskrit which I did not want to go through because that will become a slight distraction. I'm just going to highlight only the 8 flowers which Swami described in his discourse. Ashta means 8, Vidhani means kinds of. 8 kinds of Pushpani, flowers. Okay. Vishnu Devaha means Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu, Yachitaha, that he looks for, that he waits to receive. Okay. God also waits to receive from us. Yachita means you can say beg also, or requests. Okay, asks. So these are the 8 kinds of flowers Lord Vishnu asks for. So in our case, Swami is Vishnu. So Swami is asking for those 8 kinds of flowers. The first one, wait 1 second, I'm just going to. So the first one is Ahimsa. So this is an opportunity for you all to learn the words, Sanskrit words also. A, Hi, Sa, Ahimsa. Okay. Which all of you know, I think it's non-violence. Himsa means, Himsa is violence. Ahimsa means there's lack of violence, non-violence. The next one is Indriya Nigraha. Indri. It's a compound consonant. In, id, and this line, diagonal line downwards is ra. So Indriya. So Indriya. Ni, igra, gra, ha, and visarga. Indriya Nigraha. Indriya Nigraha. I have given the transliteration so that rather than go through each letter, so I should be able to read this also. Indriya Nigraha, which is Indriya means senses, Nigraha means control or curbing the senses. The next one is Sarva Bhuta Daya. Sa Irva Bhu Ta Da Ya. Okay. I given the transliteration. Sarva Bhuta Daya. Sarva means all. Bhuta means beings, you can say. All living beings is Bhuta. Daya means compassion. Okay, so having compassion for all the living beings in this world is one of the flowers which we can offer. The next one is Kshama. This is Ksha. Okay, and the Sh which is pointing upwards. The tongue should be pointing up. Sh, Ksha. Okay, Kshama, Kshama, which is forbearance. Okay, forbearance, which is to bear anything in this world, any difficulty, any censure, any blame, everything should be just accepted. We should not be affected by it. Kshama. Generally, kshama means it's also used when you ask for forgiveness. Also, you ask for kshama. Okay, uh, you know, excuse me or sorry, you can just kshama kar. So that means kshama karo. I think we sing that also in some bhajans. Kshama means we ask for forgiveness. Of course, the Lord is always forgiving, but we ask for it. Kshama. So actually, in this case, if we cultivate the quality, we should be forgiving of others also in other ways, okay, which is forbearance. Then the next one is sha inti. Okay. So, sorry, this ksha is actually a compound consonant. I think we have looked at it a couple of times. It's written slightly differently, but I hope, I think it was even during the uh, akshara, means when we looked at the consonants, I had touched this. So I didn't give you the breakdown, but I hope it's okay. The next one is Shanti, which all of us know. It's one of the 5 human values everyone will say. Prashanti is Swami's Prashanti Nilayam also. Sha, Inti, in and the, and then when you put a curve like that and the staff in front of it, it's ti, short, ikara. Shanti, which is peace. The next one is tapaha, ta, pa, and visarga, which is penance. Swami usually says tapas means not going to the jungle and standing in one leg or turning yourself upside down and doing tapas. He says if the trikarana shuddhi, if all the 3 um, faculties we have, like the speech, thought, and action, thought, word, and deed. If these 3 are in consonance, they are together and they are used for good purposes, that becomes tapas, tapaha. The next one is dhyanam. Id is the 4th, the tha varga, it's the 4th letter, dh, which extra air, okay. Dhyanam means meditation. So what do we meditate? Meditate on the Lord. Just meditating on the Lord itself is a flower which we can offer to God. The last one is Sathya. Sa, Itya, and Anuswara at the top. Satyam, which is truth. So these Swami says are the 8 flowers God is always looking for. I'll go over. Ahimsa, Indriya Nigraha, Sarvabhuta Daya, Kshama, Shanti, Tapaha, Dhyanam, and Satya. So I thought I will mention. So in the Suprabhatam, when we say Adaya Divya Kusumani Manoharani, it more or less means this at the internal level. See, externally we can collect nice flowers and do puja, but while doing that, we also should cultivate internally also. We should acquire. Adaya means to acquire. We acquire these flowers, as Swami has time and again said. So I thought I will just mention that. Okay. So now we are going to go to the next verse in the Suprabhatam, if it's okay with everyone. Deshantaragata Udhastava Divya Murtim Sandarshanabhirati Samyuta Chitta Vritya Vedokta Mantra Pathanena Lasantya Jasram Shri Sathya Sai Bhagavan Tava Suprabhatam. Okay, that's the next verse in Suprabhatam. We will do the letter by letter. So the first letter is De, which is Id, plus A gives us they. They. The next one letter is Sha, Ush plus A, which is the longer A, Sha. The next letter is a compound consonant comprising of three letters, in, it, and a. So it's inta, inta. The next letter is Ra, ir plus A gives us Ra. The next letter is Ga, Ig, which is the third letter in the Ka Varga. A gives us Ga. The last letter in the first word is Ta, which is It plus A gives us Ta. De, Sha, Inta, Ra, Ga, Ta. Deshantaragata. The next word is Buddhastava. Actually, it's a combination of two words, but we'll just look at the reading of the word itself, just the letters. Bu, which is the third letter in the Pa Varga. Ub and U gives us Bu. The next letter is Dha, which is the fourth letter in the Tha Varga, so with extra AR we have to give. Usually the even letters in the Vargas have to give AR. Okay, so Id plus A gives Dha. So Buddha. The next letter, which you see here, is a compound consonant made up of is, it, and a. Istha. The last letter is Va. U plus a gives Va. Buddhastava. Buddhastava. The last word is Divya Murtim. So the first letter is Di, which is Id plus E gives us Di. The next letter is a compound consonant, Uvya, made of Uv, E, and A. Uvya. So Divya. Next letter is Mu, plus U, which is the longer Ukara. Mu. The next letter is Irtim. It's made of Ir, It, E, Irtim. Okay. Divya Murtim. Okay. We'll go to the next line of the verse. Sandarshanabhirati samyuta chitta vritya. I'll just pause here at the second word before anyone asks the question. It can be pronounced in multiple ways, but all of them are acceptable the way I understand. Samyuta is one type of pronunciation because this anuswara can be pronounced as samyuta. But there are people who will pronounce it as sanyuta, sanyuta, because that that anuswara, many people pronounce it e. I think last week Mr. Bhavani was asking me that question. So you can pronounce it both ways, both are acceptable. Okay, sanyuta or samyuta. Okay, both are acceptable, and there are different conventions people follow. So I will just leave it as that. I just thought I will point it out. If you take a look at even the subject we are studying, many people call it Samskrita. There are people who call it Sanskrita. That second letter, the so they say Sanskrita or Samskrita. Both are acceptable by different sections of people who study Sanskrit. Okay, so I thought I would just point that out. But we'll go over to the letters, each letter. Okay, first one is Sa. Is plus A is Sa. The next one is a compound consonant, in, id, a, in, the. Next letter is Ir, Sha, made up of ir. This hook at the top is ir. Ir, ish, a gives irsha. Sandarsha. Okay. The next letter is na, made up of in, and a gives you na. The next letter is bhi, so which is actually made up of the fourth letter in the pa varga, so with the extra air. Okay, bhi, and ub plus e gives you bhi. The next letter is ra, which is made up of ir and a, ra. The last letter of the first word is ti, which is made up of it and e gives you ti. Bhirati. Abhirati, that's a word, but bhirati. The next letter which you see, next word is samyuta or samyuta. The first letter is sam, s, a, and anuswara at the top, sam, whichever you want. The next letter is e plus u gives us u. The next letter is ta, it plus a gives us ta. Samyuta or samyuta, whichever way you prefer. The next word is chitta vritya. The first letter in that word is chi. H plus e gives us chi. The next one is a compound consonant, itta, it, and a. Itta. The next letter is vr, made up of and r. I think you all know that consonant r, where the tongue points upward but does not touch the palate. R. So vr. Okay, vr. The last letter is a compound consonant, itya, made up of it, e, and a. Itya. Vritya. Okay. We'll go to the next sentence, next line in the verse. Vedokta mantra pathanena lasantya jasram. Lasantya jasram. Okay. The first word is Vedokta, starts with Ve. U plus A gives us Ve. Id plus O gives us Do. Ik, it, it's another compound consonant. Iktha. Vedokta. Okay. The next letter is Ma. Plus A is Ma. The next one is Intra. So as you can see, there are four letters coming together to form that one compound consonant. In, it, ir, and a. Intra. Intra. Okay. So the na is half of na is there in the other line here is actually the half ta, and this diagonal letter down, diagonal line down, slanting towards your left is ra. So intra, mantra. Okay. Next word is patanena. Pa is the first letter. Up plus a is pa. The next letter is ta, which is the second letter in the ta varga, which that means you have to give some extra air. Okay, the second one. Ta. So ut, a uses ta. Okay, with extra air. Pata. Pata. The next letter is ne, made of in plus a gives us ne. The next letter is na, gives us in, n plus a gives us na. Pata ne na. The next letter is la, which is made up of il plus a gives us la. The next letter is sa, is plus a gives us sa. La sa. The next letter is another compound consonant made up of four letters, individual. In, it, e, a. Intia. Intya. Okay. La Santhya. Okay. The next letter is Ja. Ij plus gives us Ja. The last letter is Isram. Again, you can see there are four individual letters coming together. Is, Ir, A, and Anuswara. Isram. Okay, Jasram. The fourth line I am not going over because we have already covered, which is Sri Sathya Sai Bhagavan Tava Suprabhatam. So we have done it a couple of times, so I'm not going over that as I've done the past little while. So we are going to now look at the meanings of the words and any grammatical aspects of those words. Okay. So first let's take the first word, Deshantaragata. Actually, there are three individual words which have come together to make that one compound word, which I mentioned is called samasa. When many words come together to form one compound word, it's called samasa. So there are three component words which have come together to make this word. So I've broken it out as Desha, Antara, Agata. Okay. So I put, there are sandhi you can see. This one is Sha, which is made up of Sh and A. When Sh and A join, they create Sha. And here you can say Ra and A makes it Ra. So that's a Ra here. Okay. Deshantar Agata. Desha Antara Agata. Oh, I see. Sorry, I made a mistake. I didn't realize. Desha means country. Okay. Antara means anything different, outside, other. Okay. Desha Antara means outside countries, other places you can say. Desha also can say place. Okay. From other places, other countries. Agata. Agata means having come. Okay. Having come. So having come from other countries is the meaning. Deshantaragata. So that means people from abroad or people foreign. Okay. Outsiders who don't live in the same place. Okay. Deshantaragata. The next word is Buddhastava. Actually, there are also two words are coming together. Buddhaha and Tava. Here, because that Visarga becomes is in the Sandhi, so it becomes Buddhas Tava. That's how we have this word Buddhas Tava. Okay. The Sandhi rules if people are interested, I will do a separate session on Sandhis, which can be a bit troublesome or tiring. I didn't want to go into those details too much, but I think as long as you understand there's a concept called Sandhi, and in this case, the Visarga becomes is. I think that's okay for now. Okay. If people are interested, I will do a separate session on just Sandhis after we've completed this. If there's a interest. Okay. So the first word Buddhaha, which is like a dha. Dha means learned people, people who are scholars, people who have learned in the Vedas, or wise people also, people who have cultivated wisdom, people who have understood, have knowledge. All of them are called Buddha. Okay. Tava means your. Buddhas Tava. Buddha means learned, your. So this Buddha, actually you have to take it from here. So the learned people having come from other places. Okay. Tava is your because it has to be looked at along with the next word. We'll go to the next word. Divya Murtim. Tava Divya Murtim. Okay. Your Divya Murti means divine form. Divya means divine. Actually, that which sends effulgent, which is shining, which gives out light. Okay, Divya. That which gives out light is Divya. So, which is divine. The next word is Murtim. It's actually an object. Murti is the word, Murtihi. But Murti means to that one. Okay, so it's an object when a word becomes an object. Form. So, Tava Divya Murtim. So, your divine form. Okay, it's the way we should see it. The next word is Sandarshanabhirati. Okay, so it's made up of two words. I can further break down, but it's unnecessary. Sandharshana plus Abhirati. Okay, Sandarshana plus Abhirati. Sandarshana means Darshana means we know vision, having the sight of the Lord, seeing the Lord. Sandarshana means that itself is divine. Even the activity itself is also auspicious activity of looking at you, or spiritual vision. You can say that also. Sandarshana. Abhirati. Rati, we have looked at the word Ratha sometime back. It's people who are attached, people who are engrossed, okay, who like something. Okay. Tvannama Kirtana Ratha. We have used the word Ratha means to be attached, to likes to do something. Okay. So Abhirati means much more extreme. It's extra yearning, extra attachment to seeing your form. Sandarshana. Okay. Abhirati. So great desire they have desire also. Great desire also you can say Abhirati. One who has great desire. Okay, so these people who have come from abroad or outside to look at, to have this great darshan of yours with such great yearning. Okay, that's the meaning. We have come to the word samyuta. Okay, samyuta or sanyuta, whichever way people want to read it. Joined with. Yuta means to join. Okay, samyuta means having that kind of desire is completely one. They are one with that desire. Samyuta chitta vritya. Okay. Actually, chitta vritti is the word. Vritya means because of that. Okay. So I didn't want to go too much into the detail. So you can even say from that state. Okay. I will just put because of the, it's very difficult to translate this in English in very accurately, but vritya means when you have such a desire, because of that they have come. Okay. So vritya, state of mind. We'll look at this word a little later. Chitta means one aspect of a mind. Vritya is the state. For that, for now, we will just stick to that translation. But I will go over the detailed meaning of chitta vritti little later. Chitta vritya. So what has happened? So these are people who have come up from outside places, far off places, different places. They've come with this great yearning, abhirati, sandarshana, abhirati, to have this great darshan of divya murtim, that your divine form. Okay. And they are wise people, means they know, they have learned, you can say. We'll come to the next line. Vedokta. Vedokta is made up of two words, Veda plus Ukta. So it's also Sandhi. A plus U becomes O. A plus U becomes O. Okay, so that Sandhi is Veda Ukta, Vedokta. Veda means Vedas. Ukta means said or what is stated. Okay, what is told, however you want to put it. Vedokta means whatever is told in the Vedas. Mantra. So I think I just put mantra. We have discussed about mantra a lot, so I will just leave it at this. Patanena, by studying. Okay, by studying. Patanena. Patana is to study. Patanena means by studying. Okay, from studying the mantras stated in the Vedas. Okay, it can also mean chanting. Patana means have multiple meanings: to study, to recite, to read. All that is patana. So by studying is word which the activity comprises everything. Lasanti ajasram. It's made up of two words. Lasanti, which is an ajasram. Lasanti ajasram. So the E at the end, inti means in it E. E is the last word. A. That E and A together make up Ya. Ya. So if you keep on saying Ya, 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 you get Ya. So I think we had looked at it earlier on when we looked at the vowels. E plus A make Ya. Okay. I hope it's one of the sandhis. Iya, iya, iya. So lasanti ajasram becomes lasanti ajasram. So lasanti is a word. Okay. I think I should say lasanti is plural word. I think we have looked at plural and singular. So I'll put they. Who are the they? Buddha. Lasanti. Buddhaha lasanti. That wise people are shining. Lasanti. Ajasram, without any interruption. That means that state is not permanent. It's not fluctuating, not wavering. Ajasram without a break. Okay. So that means patanena ajasram. So they are studying it constantly without a break. Because of that, they are shining. So these great people from abroad have come who are shining through their study of constant study of the mantra stated in the Vedas. These people have come with great yearning to have the darshan of your divine form. So we are giving reasons for Swami to, wake up and give darshan. It also means that these are things which we have to see. Actually, we have looked at every word is actually not only describing what things were happening, but it also tells what we should do. And that is the Suprabhadam. Suprabhadam itself is Veda, the way. So how some of these things have been described. So you can see Suprabhadam itself was composed in the 50s, late 50s, and has been sung. So at that time itself, the revelation was that there will be people coming from outside countries, other countries, who would be shining having studied the mantra stated in the Vedas, which actually you started seeing only maybe in the 2000s, when many foreigners started learning Vedas and come and stand, they continually studying. I think Brother Kumar put up his hand. Yes, Brother Kumar.
Yes, Brother Aruna. The last letter, Ajastram, right?
Yes.
Did I pronounce it correctly? Ajastram.
No, not Ram. There's no T, brother.
Okay.
Ajasram.
Oh, Ajastram. Okay.
Is Ra. Okay. It's no T. Okay. Ajasram.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this was foretold long time ago. In the 50s, means after 50, 60 years, it's happening. It's also so. I found that today we are going through Dashara, and in Veda Purusha Sapta Yajna is going on in Prashanta Nilayam, and every Dashara or Navaratri, Vedas were given a lot of importance by Swami. So it's not, it seems like a coincidence that we are discussing this today. So by studying what is stated in the Vedas, one becomes wise. One gives out light, shine, effulgent. And that study should be constant without a break. These are instructions also which we can take from Swami by chanting it. So that's why every day when we chant, we should remind ourselves these are things which we should do with our time. So that's mentioned. So I thought that. Um, so that is the three words we are going through, three lines of these words, and then Tava Suprabhatam. Lord, this is the morning. This is this great morning where you are arising. It also means if we practice these things, the divinity in us also will rise up and be awakened by these activities. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about the word Chitta Vritti. Okay, Chitta Vritya. We saw that in the, okay, Deshantara, Deshantaragada Buddhastava Divyamurti, Sandarshanabhirati, Samyuta, Chitta Vritya. Okay, the word Chitta Vritya was introduced. So I thought I will dwell on it a bit because Swami has also spoken about it quite often, and it's a very important concept, principle in Sanatana Dharma, in the Vedic structure. So I've taken uh, a sutra from Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Okay, Patanjali Rishi is the one who has put together a set of about 195 sutras, aphorisms, which describe what is yoga. The Ashtanga yoga is described by Patanjali. This is the root uh, work, scripture, I would say, which describes what yoga is. Okay, so Swami has spoken about this at quite of many places. So I thought I will just mention this because of the word Chitta Vritti. So Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Okay. So of the 195, this is the second sutra in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. The first one is just introducing the subject. The second one is really the first one. I will read it. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is a compound consonant ish, sh, ich, e. Three of them come together. Ischi. Yogaschi. Itta. Again another compound consonant. Vritti. Nirodha. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. There are three words, or maybe four actually, but I will stick to three. Yogaha, Chitta Vritti, Nirodha. That is, as you can see, this Visarga has become Ish because of Sandhi. Okay, that's the only change between this and that, but I've broken it down so that you understand the individual words. Yogaha, Chitta Vritti, Nirodha. The first one, yoga, I think everyone knows, at least the yoga. But this is the definition of what yoga is by Patanjali Maharishi. Okay. Chitta is one function of the mind. Mind is actually composed of one, when we say mind, it's one internal organ, inner instrument. But it has four functions and they have given different names. Because the ancient rishis of Sanatana Dharma studied everything, they dissected everything, and so they took the mind and looked at the activities of the mind or functions of the mind and broken it down into four categories: manas, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. So these are the four components of the mind's functioning. Okay. Chitta, mind is that which just observes and takes in impressions. Okay. Manas. So the mind, the manas, Mahamanas is again broken into four categories. Within that, there's a mind piece which basically absorbs information. It is a mirror. It takes in information through all of our senses. That is manas. Then buddhi, the discriminative faculty. Okay. Which is right, wrong, what is permanent, impermanent. It evaluates. Then comes a function of the mind called chitta. Chitta means where all impressions are collected. All the memory resides in chitta. All of our past impressions are stored there. Not only they are stored there, it is also revolving. We dwell, what that happened that day, something which has happened. All the smriti. Smriti means to remember happens in the chitta. Okay. All good things, bad things, everything is remembered in the chitta. So you can, sometimes it's even translated as heart, some places, but it is a mental function. Swami separates it because in Vedanta, chitta means the mental function where you store impressions. Okay. Vritti, okay. So function of the mind where past impressions are stored and remembered is what I'm saying. Vritti means there are multiple meanings of vritti. That means what you do with the activity of that mind. Or there's already a movement of thoughts of a certain kind. That is, we close our eyes, that means no impressions are coming. The discriminative faculty is also gone. But that is where whether we feel sad, whether we feel happy, we remember something good, something bad, all that happens in chitta. Or it's movement. Oh, occupation. What it is? See, vritti is also what is your job means in Sanskrit they will ask what is your vritti? Means what are you keeping your time occupied with? Or what is your job? What is your work? So vritti also. So that means chitta vritti, the tendency of the mind to work on all this. That is called chitta vritti. Most of us spend a lot of time thinking about variety of things. That is chitta vritti. Nirodha. Nirodha means to curb, to stop, to control or manage, you can say. Okay, chitta vritti. So yoga is nothing but control of the mental faculty of chittam, which is always dwelling on the past and remembering all sorts of things. How do we do that? How can we stop it? Means so it will not stop. So it has to be given some other work. Okay. That is why samyuta chitta vritti. Okay, that is so this concept is actually described in this verse. So I thought I should dwell on this concept because there's much more said in each of these words. Okay, so how do we control the mind? Which is yoga, chitta vritti nirodha. This chitta vritti nirodhana or stopping happens by keeping the mind engrossed in the form of the Lord. So which is meditation. So to go back, see, Sandharshanabhirati samyuta chitta vritya. Okay, that means our thought should be always thinking about having the desire for the darshan of the Lord. So when that happens in our mind, that itself is yoga. And if we go a little further up, in one of the flowers which we are supposed to offer, dhyana is also mentioned. So you can say this dhyana has been described, the definition of what it is also is stated in the next verse, which is Adhaya Divya Kusumani is the first verse, the preceding verse. In that dhyana, one of the Divya Kusumani or one of the divine flowers is dhyanam, which seems to be described below. And how do we cultivate that? That happens by studying what is said in the Vedas. Vedokta mantra pathanena lasanti. Okay. Through that process, one becomes Buddha, a wise person. And will have great desire and yearning to have the darshan of the Lord. And the mind will be so engrossed in that thought. Such people, when they come, you come out and give darshan, is the prayer to the Lord through this verse in the Suprabhata. So that's what I have prepared so far today. So I have gone over. I don't know whether I've rushed through any of the sections. I think I will stop here and see if anyone has any questions. It has gone a little faster than I thought it will. So anyone has any questions, please, on this or even the past ones, if anyone wants something revised, if you have questions of the past. I guess that's not. There is, I think, some additional materials I had posted last week because I think there was a request about learning to chant the mantra, Mahamrityunjaya mantra. So I had posted some information. So I hope that's useful for anyone. And then I have also posted compound consonants, where two consonants come together, an exhaustive list of compound consonants. People can study it to become more familiar, and that should help in the reading of Sanskrit script, Devanagari script.
Sai Ram, I have a question. So,
Yes.
you know this word lasanti? Can
Yes.
you? So, you know how? So, if you have a half word, no, is that what you say? Half a compound letter followed by a e. Why is that half letter coming inside the e? Shouldn't it be outside?
Okay, I don't think let me see whether I understand the question.
Okay. Can you?
See, you are telling about this one, no? So
Yes, that
in
shouldn't the
yes.
in be to the left of the line? But I know, but this is how it's shown. Can you?
So the reason is, sister, in the compound consonant that becomes one consonant. Inth inth is a consonant. So that inth has an e at the end. Okay. Inth itself is one consonant. So it is a consonant. It's one letter, one sound. Inth. Now you are saying in is separate, n is separate, ith is separate. But once they are joined, it is one unit. Okay. Nothing can get in between. Then then there's no unity. Okay. So in and it have come together and they become one. They stand as two separate sounds, but they're joined, completely joined. So in Sanskrit, even in sound or even writing, the inth is considered one akshara. It is not two. Once you join, it becomes one. So that is why the E is only added to that consonant. Okay. So the consonant is taken as one unit, inth, and then a vowel is added, either E, A, or so it can be inta, inti, into, inte, intai. But inth, that is joined. Once it is joined, it is one unit. But two components are there, but it's one joined unit. So that's my understanding. So I hope I made some sense, but that's the convention also. So I will leave that. Okay. I hope that I answered your question or not.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know. There are two questions. Sandhi rules, yes, Brother Vimalesan said, and Sister Dushi said, yes, please. I don't know what it relates to. And Brother Dasan is asking for Ashtanga Yoga, 8 yoga. We can take up concept of yoga at some point, each word, I will address after we complete the Suprabhatam, if it's okay, brother. We will go over
Thank you.
the 8 limbs of the yoga, because there are some, these are some concept which Swami has talked about. So I think it's good. I will cover that later, sure. And I think brother Vimalis and brother Vimalis said something about Sandhi, but I don't know whether he has any question or not. So
No, I just, you said if you are interested, you will do it. So that's why. So we are in.
oh, okay. Oh, so
yeah,
you okay? I understand.
yeah.
So you say yes. I will do a separate, because you see, I have tried this Sanskrit lesson with some youth also, others also, and when I go through this grammar, which becomes very dry for many people, people lose interest, and
Yeah, what I would no, my opinion personally,
yes,
I will not in a very, I mean,
detailed way,
yeah, not in a detail. Whichever sandhis often come in
common,
chanting or
yeah.
bhajans or mantras, those things. Not all the
Yes, I understand. So yeah, so I will definitely cover.
Thank you.
Sai Ram, I was not able to find Ashtotram or Suprapadam in Sanskrit online. Is there any place where you have the whole thing?
I also didn't come across, sister, because the reality is, even if you take India, um, Devanagari script. See, Ashtotram itself is more prevalent in the south. Okay, not in the north. And in the south, no one knows Sanskrit actually. Um, everyone, see, there are 4 different languages. All of them write it in their own languages and read. And Ashtotram is more prevalent and popular in the south of India. In the north, it is not as popular. But there may be books where it is available in Devanagari script, but they're not available, at least in Bharti. There are books on Ashtotram, but they're written in English. It's transliteration, but not in Devanagari script as far as I know. So we will cover that. Ashtotram is the next one after the Suprabhatam. So I'm planning to cover that because everyone chants, especially at least here most centers chant it. So I have put together a Sanskrit version of the Ashtotram, which I think about 3-4 years ago we had done a class. It's Kavro. So I have the material. If you're interested, I will send it to you. But we will go through the Ashtotram here. But it's not available online, unfortunately. Because, see, Swami gave a lot of importance to Sanskrit, always. But I don't think it's for us to take it up. And I don't think there were anyone sat down and did it. So I think maybe we should take it up as a project after we all study, we can put together something. And it can become useful for others. So that's the idea. Small steps. There's a lot of work to be done.
Sorry, I have one last question. Sanskrit sounds such an English way of saying it. How did Swami say it?
Samskrita. Swami would say Samskrita. If you want, I will. There are enough recordings of Swami saying about Sanskrit. I will put it so you can listen to what Swami says. Okay, Samskrita. So that's why Swami will pronounce it as Samskritam, but in the north or in some part, the people pronounce it as Sanskrita. Okay, the Anuswara is pronounced slightly different. Samskrita. It's 10 o'clock, and there are no questions. I don't know whether it's too much or sometimes it's I hope I am not. It's useful, that's all I wanted to say. I think someone will find something useful. So that's what I try to cover. If there are no questions, and I think I will give half an hour back to others, because I did not have any material, because I thought it will take more than 1 hour, but I think whether I went fast or not, I don't know. It's 10 o'clock and I've sort of wrapped up whatever I prepared. Thank you very much, Brother Vimalesa.
Hi, brother.
Yes.
Can I say one event is going on right now? Sairam, everyone. There is Vedic worship, and it's going on for 7 days. It started on October 8th. It goes up to October 14th. The time is 9 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. It's on the YouTube. I'll just say the YouTube address here: www.youtube.com/SSGC Zone 1. If you go into it, you may listen this. This is from 9 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. So, it's another comment. Yeah, so, I think as part of just to elaborate on what Sister Aruna said, by Swami's grace, the Global Council Zone 1 has put together a Veda chants team. I have a small role in that. So we have organized a celebration of Dashara, just the way it's done in Prashantanam, where Swami gave a lot of importance to Vedas. So it's a glimpse of, so as an offering, we have done this for 7 days, just the way Swami does for 7 days, the Veda Purusha Saptaha Yajna. So we are also doing it in our simple, humble way, online. So people become aware of it. So that's the idea. So today, that's why it's Vedokta Mantra Pathanena Lasanti Ajastram. Patana means not only to study, it's also to listen. Listening itself is a study, because Shruti in Veda is to listen. When you don't know anything, no problem, just listen. It's the way Swami looked at it. But there are different stages of studying, and for each person, however far they want to take it, however far and deep each of us take it, that much benefit comes. That is what this Veda, this verse is explaining, and that every one of these will take us forward. Every one of this activity will grant us the darshan of the Lord. So we can never say neglect anything, and it's not that everyone should be forced to follow anything, but everything will bring the results of getting closer to the Lord. So those are my words on this happy Dashara. I will let you all take half an hour or 25 minutes left, and maybe you can review. If there are questions, I will answer at the next session if any questions remain. Oh, I see. Okay, Sairam everyone. I will close with Samastaloka and Shanti, if everyone is okay. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam everyone.